welcome back to my channel. My name is Paige. If you are new here, I would really appreciate it if you could hit the subscribe button down below. If you are not new here, welcome back to another video. So as you guys can see by the title of today's video, I am doing my first back to school video of the school year, so I'm super excited about this. I do have 3 planned back to school videos that I want to do this year, so I hope you guys enjoy every single one of them. This is going to be the first one. So in today's video, I am going to be giving you guys like back to school advice. So basically I'm going to be giving you guys advice on how to be a good student, how to have a good school year, how to be successful, just all of that good stuff. Now, as you guys know or may not know if you are new here, I am not going back to school this semester. I graduated with my associate's degree, so I am taking a break because I'm having my daughter, so you know I don't want to have to be like bombarded with schoolwork while I'm learning how to be a new mom. And I feel like I just needed a break, so I have everything written in my phone that I want to talk about today to you guys. So I have about 11 different topics that I'm going to give you guys advice on today, so let's just get right into the advice. So the first things first is that I have to have a good morning routine. So this may look different for everybody, but whatever a morning routine looks like for you, I feel like it is very important to have a good morning routine because it's just going to set you up for success. If your mornings look the same almost every single day, you're just going to get into that routine and you're just going to be in like a good flow. So for example, for me, when I was in school, my morning routine wasn't perfected, but I would typically, you know, wake up, I would make the bed if I could. If CJ was still in bed, I wouldn't, but I would make the bed if I could. That was like a part of my morning routine. It just made me feel good. It makes you feel like you accomplished something with the start of your day. I would do my skincare, I would brush my teeth, I would try to have breakfast. So whatever the morning routine looks like for you, whatever is something important that you think you want to get done in the morning, just have a good morning routine and try to stick to that same morning routine throughout the school year and throughout the semester, whether you're in college or high school or even middle school, whoever may be watching this. Just try to stick to a good morning routine because I feel like it's just going to set you up for success. With that being said, I feel like it's also important to wake up at the same time every day. So again, whatever that looks like for you, no matter what time your day starts, try to wake up at the same time every day because that's just going to train your brain to wake up at the same time every day. And you're just going to have like enough time to do what you have to do. And also going along with that, with waking up at the same time every day, give yourself enough time to do your morning routine without having to rush. Because obviously there's days that we wake up late, but if you are not giving yourself enough time in the morning to get ready and do everything that you want to get done, you're just going to be rushing and then you're just going to feel like discombobulated for the day. You're just going to feel like out of place. So yeah, long story short, I feel like having a morning routine is just going to set you up for success. Waking up at the same time every day, like I said, whatever your morning routine may look like for you, because it's going to look different for different people. Having a morning routine and waking up at the same time every day is just going to simply set you up for success and just make you feel like you're ready to take on the day. So kind of going along with that, I also have a good night routine. So I feel like just having good routines is just going to set you up for success, like I said. So going along with a morning routine, you also want to have a good night routine. So you want to make sure that you're like eating dinner, you want to make sure that, you know, you're preparing yourself for the next morning to make your next morning easier. So what I used to do is I would try to take my clothes out the night before, so in the morning I can just grab them and get dressed. I would try to pack my lunch the night before. If you are someone who packs lunch, I would try to pack your lunch the night before, so that just saves you time in the morning. You don't even have to worry about it. You just have to grab it and go. I would try to go to bed at the same time every night. That doesn't mean that that always happened because, like I said, sometimes life is just going to get in the way. But yeah, try to go to bed at the same time every night because again, you're just training your brain to like wake up or go to bed at the same time every night, and it's just going to be more beneficial to your body. And getting enough sleep is also very important for our bodies, especially for school, because it's just going to help us perform better in like our assignments and just our everyday life. And if you guys didn't know, it is recommended that the average person, I want to say, get 7 to 9 hours of sleep a night. I definitely don't think I get enough sleep, but it is recommended to get 7 to 9 hours of sleep every night. So if you can aim for 8 hours, I feel like that's perfect. Another thing with your night routine that I feel like is important is trying to limit your screen time at night. So try to do something that's beneficial for you before bed, but rather than just scrolling on Instagram or TikTok. So for me, I love reading, so I really try to like read a chapter of my book, for example, before bed. But if you guys aren't into reading, just try to do something that's like beneficial for yourself before bed. That's not screen time, whether that's like journaling or coloring in a coloring book, or literally just sitting in bed and laying down and reflecting on your day. Whatever that may look like for you, just going to bed right when you put your phone down, I feel like it's not good for you. You're not going to get as good sleep, and it's just obviously good and beneficial to limit your screen time in general. So doing that right before bed is just a good thing in my opinion. Try to do things before you go to bed that help you feel relaxed as well. So whether that's like possibly maybe doing a face mask, or like I said, journaling, that might make you feel relaxed, or reading a book that might make you feel relaxed. That kind of goes along with like limiting your screen time. But if you do something that makes you happy and relaxed before bed, that's also going to help you sleep better. So the next piece of advice that I have kind of goes along with the morning routine, and this is try to eat breakfast. Now this one is super important, because when I was in high school, I feel like I barely ever ate breakfast, and then by the time you get to lunch, you're just like starving. I feel like eating breakfast, again, this might seem silly, but eating breakfast is just going to set your day up for success. You know the saying that breakfast is the most important meal of the day, and that's actually not true. The truth behind that statement is whatever you're putting in your body for the first thing during a day is going to fuel your body, and that is the most important thing. It doesn't necessarily have to be breakfast. For example, some people don't like breakfast, and that's perfectly okay. You can just eat something before you start your day is what I'm trying to say, because whatever you're fueling your body with at the start of your day is going to determine your energy for the rest of the day. So yeah, I remember that I would skip breakfast and I would be so hungry, and it's just hard to perform when you're on an empty stomach. If you're eating breakfast, you're going to feel nice and full. You're going to be ready to take on the day. You're going to be ready for those first period classes. They're so early in the morning. Having a full stomach is going to help you think more clearly, help you perform better, help you be more focused. You'll be more awake and alert, and obviously you're just going to be more energized. So definitely just try to eat something before your day starts. The next thing I have is planning out your weeks. So you could do this on Sunday, you could do this on Monday, you could do this on a random day of the week, but I think it's good to plan out your weeks. So I remember when I started my fall semester last year, I did my back to school video and I bought a planner. And I had never been the type of person to use a planner, and I really wanted to use it. I wanted to find a way to use it. So I remember that at the start of my semester, and if you are in middle school or high school, you might not be able to do this, but you can still do it in like your own way. But for me, when I was in college, I remember with my fall semester, I wrote down every single assignment that I had in my planner, because you kind of know ahead of time. And then I would write their due dates, of course. So then as like time went on, I would just like scroll through my planner and I'd be like, oh, okay, I have this due, so let me work on it today. It just helped me stay on track of my assignments, and it helped me be productive, and I felt like I had a pretty good semester that semester, and it was very beneficial to my grades and just getting my assignments done. So basically my advice is to plan out your weeks, get a planner. Again, if you don't have all of your assignments at once, that's perfectly fine. Just write down what you know that you can. Even like things that you want to do during that week that have nothing to do with school. Just plan out your weeks. It's going to help you get a head start on your assignments. So for example, if you know that you have an assignment coming up on next Sunday and you want to work on it throughout the week, you can, because you know that you have that coming up, compared to looking at it last minute and you're like, oh my gosh, I have this assignment due, I need to work on this. It's just going to help you stay on track of your assignments so you don't fall behind, which is extremely important. You don't want to fall behind, because I have definitely been the type of student in the past to fall behind and hand in late assignments, and it just does not make you feel good. It makes you feel like crap, honestly. And yeah, so staying productive, staying on top of your assignments, handing in your assignments on time, doing them as soon as they're assigned if you can, that is really going to be beneficial for you and your schoolwork. The next one that I have might seem kind of silly, but this one is to set a time aside to study. Now for me, I have never been a big studier when it comes to my assignments, and it has definitely reflected. I obviously know that life gets busy and studying can be boring. Trust me, like I just said, I was never the type of person to study. Studying can be so boring, but studying will help you succeed so much more in your assignments and in your classes. So what I recommend doing for studying is, if you know that you have a test coming up, try to study as many days before that test as you can, and kind of do it in intervals so your brain can kind of grasp the information. So whatever intervals that looks like for you. So for example, you could study strictly 15 minutes with no distractions and take a 5-minute break. 15 minutes, 5-minute break. And that could work for you. You could also do it in different intervals. You could study for an hour straight and then take a 15-minute break. Whatever those intervals look like for you, that is going to help your brain grasp the information so much more. When I was a student, like I said, I didn't study much, but I remember I would be like the student to study like right before. And although that information is fresh in your brain, it's important to sleep on the information that you are learning. So for example, studying a couple days before, and then obviously sleeping on that information, and then studying the next day, sleeping on that information, your brain is going to grasp it so much better. And I'm almost positive that is like a scientific fact. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure that that is a fact, that if you sleep on the information, you are going to obtain it that much more. But that doesn't mean that studying right before your test isn't important as well. Obviously get those like other days of studying in, because you're already going to have that information, and then just double check, like read over the information that you need to read over before your test starts, so then it's just fresh in your brain. So all of that information that you just studied is already fresh in your brain and is just there. If you definitely want to be a good student this semester and make sure that you are passing all of your classes, studying is just going to be really important. Again, even though I know it sucks and it's so boring, and it's probably the most boring piece of advice that I could give you, but it really is going to help you and make all the difference. And kind of going along with studying, for example, me, and I'm just saying this because I know that I used to do this as a student, when I would have an assignment based on a book, not necessarily like a novel, but even like a textbook, I would never read the information. I would just try to like Google the information. And while that does help, I'm not gonna lie, because Quizlet and stuff like that has definitely been reasons of why I have passed. And I'm telling you guys that because you guys know that I'm always gonna be real with you. But while Quizlet and Google and just like sources like that have helped me in the past, it's also better to just read the information, know what you are learning, and then you will obviously do so much better. Not saying that there's anything wrong with using Quizlet or Google to find answers for certain things, but if you are reading the information in your textbook or your novel or whatever it is, you're obviously just going to be learning the information more fully, and you're just going to be more prepared when there's like a test or something like that. So trust me, I was definitely that Quizlet student, and Quizlet has definitely helped me pass many times in the past. And you can still use that, but I would just say to definitely like read your information that you are doing your work on. So the next one that I have is kind of simple, and it's literally just don't forget to have fun. School can be very overwhelming and very just time consuming and stressful, honestly. And trust me, I have been there. There has been times where I have literally had mental breakdowns because of school, and that was my fault because I would wait until the last minute to do my assignments, which is another piece of advice. Definitely don't wait until the last minute to do your assignments. I know I kind of already said that by planning and stuff like that, but definitely don't wait until the last minute to do your assignments, because you are just going to be so annoyed with yourself. It's just going to be so much more stressful to get it done. Definitely try to get your assignments done as soon as possible. But anyway, going back to having fun, school can be so stressful, so literally just don't forget to have fun. If you are taking my advice and you are getting your assignments done ahead of time, you are going to have more free time when all of your assignments are handed in to do things that you enjoy, whether that's like watching a movie, having a self-care night, hanging out with your friends, hanging out with your family, whatever the case may be. Just try to not forget to have fun, because school can be very overwhelming, but it's very important to also have fun during your school year so you don't burn yourself out. So for example, if you're in middle school or high school or even college and you're dedicating your weeks to your schoolwork, try to let your weekends be for fun. So the next thing that I have is surrounding yourself with good people and people who make you happy. So again, no matter what grade you are in, or like if you're in college, you are going to be meeting new people, and it is very, very important to surround yourself with people who, one, make you happy, and two, people who are good company, because you don't want to surround yourself with the wrong people and then those people rub off on you. And like for example, like when in high school and stuff, like you can just be a part of the wrong crowd, and then you can like be peer pressured into doing things that you don't want to do. Whatever the case may be, you just want to be surrounded by good people who are going to have like good intentions around you, because that's also going to give like you good intentions, and it's not going to set you up for a failure or get you into any type of trouble in any way. You don't want to surround yourself with people who may be a part of gossip a lot or drama, because then that's just going to drag you into that stuff as well. Your focus is going to be on that rather than like the important things that it should be on. Your friends should be people that lift you up, people that make you happy, people that you are excited to hang out with, excited to see. If people are making you feel bad about yourself or peer pressuring you into doing things that you don't want to do, obviously those are not the type of people that you should be hanging around. And don't feel bad if you do end up around someone like that and then you're like, sorry, I don't think this friendship is really working out, and take a step back from that person, because you need to do what's best for you this school year and just in general. And if you feel like someone is being negative and pulling you down, there's nothing wrong with walking away from that friendship. And I know that's probably easier said than done, but basically make this school year about you and we're making this our best school year yet. We're going to be our best students that we can be. And yeah, if there's people that are distracting you from your own goals, there's nothing wrong with cutting them loose. Simple as that. Another thing with that is like there may be other students and other like people that you may be friends with that don't take their assignments as seriously as you, and like might just always ask you to hang out when you have homework and stuff like that. And like I said, definitely dedicate certain times to having fun, but if there's a certain time that you have already planned to do homework and you're hanging around people that don't take their assignments as seriously as you do, and they're trying to get you to hang out when you had plans to do schoolwork, again, don't feel bad about saying no. So then the next tip I have is to be yourself, literally. Like I said, you're gonna be meeting so many new people this year and you want them to like you for you. Be yourself. I know school can be intimidating, meeting new people can be intimidating. I say that because I feel like I'm definitely an introvert. And stay true to who you are, like I said, because it may seem pressuring at times to want to fit into certain crowds, but you don't have to change who you are to have friends. There are going to be people who appreciate you for you, and it's just very important to be honest with yourself about who you are and stay true to yourself, because that is going to just get you the realest friends that you can ever make. And going along with like wanting to fit into certain crowds, if there's certain crowds that you want to be a part of that make you feel like you need to like change who you are, then I promise you that they are not worth it, because it is never worth it to change who you are just to be a part of like some crowd or be popular. And again, I know that that can seem like more easier said than done, but you watch movies and you see like the jocks and the cool kids and the like marching band, and like you see all these different like cliques, and then you see like this one person who wants to be a part of this clique, and then they change their demeanor to be a part of this clique, and then they regret it. And yeah, life is just not a movie. So if you guys are like entering high school or something like that and you're like kind of scared about that, just trust me, I was very, very scared to start high school, but it is nothing like the movies. And yeah, it's just very important to stay true to who you are, because you are going to meet the most amazing people if you just stay true to who you are, because then you're going to be able to find the people who you genuinely have things in common with. So the next thing that I have is don't feel shy about talking to someone about how you feel. So for example, school can be very overwhelming, and there may be times where you feel very, very stressed. There may be times where you might get depressed, you might get very anxious, and you know, there's gonna be a lot of like feelings that come up with school, and that is just the reality of it, unfortunately. Like I said, I have had many breakdowns because of school and just different reasons, and just don't feel scared to talk to someone about how you feel. Someone that you trust, whether that's a friend and a sibling, a parent, a guardian, a guidance counselor, a teacher, literally anybody that you feel close to. You're gonna have feelings. We're human, and we're obviously gonna go through things, and like I said, school can be very overwhelming. It's just the reality of it. And yeah, there's obviously going to be a lot of feelings that come up with that, and just don't feel scared to talk to someone about the way you feel, because there's absolutely nothing wrong with feeling the way that you feel. And I know that society sometimes can make us feel like there's something wrong with being scared or being anxious or being depressed, but there's literally nothing wrong with asking for help if you need it. So definitely just don't be scared to ask for help. Whoever you feel like you want to ask for help from, someone you trust, if you need it, because there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I promise you, talking to someone about the way that you feel is always going to result in a better result than just bottling up your negative feelings. All right, so the next thing that I have is, if it's possible for you, try to join extracurriculars that interest you. So whether that's a sport, a club, anything like that, try to join something that interests you. Because, for example, for me, when I was in high school, I was in 0 extracurriculars. I remember I did field hockey for not even that long, maybe a month, and I quit. And I feel like I lost out on a lot of like potential friendships that I could have had if I was in like more clubs and more sports and stuff like that. I feel like being in extracurriculars is a good way to have fun outside of your assignments, like I said earlier, and it's also a good way to make friends and meet people that you could be really close to and have really good friendships with. And if it's like a sport, for example, it's also a good way to stay active, which is important. And yeah, I feel like I regret now, looking back, not being in any extracurriculars in high school, because like I said, I could have had more friendships, I could have had more fun. I feel like I literally would just go home after school and do nothing, and that is just so boring now looking back on it. So if it's something that interests you, and again, if you don't want to, that's perfectly fine, but if it's something that interests you, I would definitely say to join an extracurricular, join a club, join something that is going to help you have fun outside of your schoolwork. But also, with that being said, try not to overdo it. You don't want to like burn yourself out. And I say that more for like sports, because people can let sports literally consume their entire life. And I never really understood that, but I'm also not an athlete, so I guess like I just don't know. But definitely try not to let it consume you, because while it is important, you don't want to like burn yourself out at the same time. But I do feel like if you do find an extracurricular that you're interested in, I feel like you're going to end up having a lot of fun and you will not regret it. But also, with that being said, if you do join an extracurricular and you don't like it, don't feel guilty about like wanting to quit, because there's nothing wrong with like quitting something if you're not into it. And I know sometimes this can be difficult with like parents and stuff like that. Like I know sometimes people's parents like won't let them quit, but luckily for me, my parents were never like that. Like if I tried something and I didn't like it, they were perfectly okay with me like quitting, because at least I tried. So just remind yourself that like at least I tried and I didn't like it, and if you don't like it, there's nothing wrong with quitting. But maybe you really will like it and it won't be anything to regret. So I only have one more on here, and this one is to stay organized. So this one can just kind of seem very basic, but definitely stay organized. So try to clean out your book bag at least once a month. There's definitely going to be old papers that pile up in there of old homework assignments and just papers that you may not need anymore. So definitely try to clean out your book bag once a month with just things that you don't need anymore. That being said, also try to clean out like your folders and your binders, maybe like worn out pencils, erasers, stuff like that. If you have something in your book bag such as like an emergency kit, maybe you can like restock that. If you keep like snacks in your bag, just make sure that like they're not expired possibly, and just like replace them if you need to. But yeah, staying organized is just going to help you perform so much better, rather than your book bag just being filled with so much old papers and pencils and just whatever else may be accumulated in your book bag. Another thing with staying organized, I think, is keeping your room clean. So this one can be important just for like your mental health, because I feel like it's obviously really hard to have like a clean headspace if you have a dirty physical space. So definitely try to like keep your room clean, keep yourself organized, and overall I just think you're going to perform better. So I think that was all of the advice that I had for you guys. So like I said, even though I'm not personally going back to school, I obviously have been in school for a lot of my life, so I know that these pieces of advice will help you, and they definitely used to help me. I didn't necessarily like always follow my own advice, and I wish I did. So I hope you guys take something from my advice video, and I hope you enjoyed. If you did, give it a big thumbs up, subscribe down below, and I will see you guys in my next video. You guys are going to have a great school year and be great students. I already know it, but I hope that my advice helps with that a little bit. So yeah, I hope you guys have a wonderful school year, a wonderful start of your school year if you have already started. And thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.